was sitting down in the locker room eating a piece of chicken.
Yeah.
Someone walks in and says, "Hey, you're eating over my bag." Was I? To him, I was. To me, I was not.
Michael Gregory Mizanin, 8th October 1980, is an American professional wrestler, reality television star, and actor. He is signed to World Wrestling Entertainment, WWE, where he performs on the Raw brand under the ring name The Miz. He passionately roots for his hometown Cleveland Browns, Indians, and Cavs. Prior to the Indians vs Angels game on Tuesday, 26 July 2011, Mizanin fulfilled one of his lifelong goals when he threw out the first pitch. When Mike was 11, his parents divorced. He has a stepfather named Donnie and two step-siblings, Jeannie and Tonya. His father, George Mizanin, owns several Mr. Hero sandwich shops in the Cleveland area. Mizanin married his longtime girlfriend, French-Canadian fellow WWE wrestler Maryse Ouellet, in the Bahamas on 20th February 2014. Their first daughter, Monroe Sky Mizanin, was born 27th March 2018. Shortly thereafter, the family moved to Austin, Texas. During Elimination Chamber on 17th February 2019, the couple announced they are expecting their second child, due in September. In August 2019, the family moved permanently to Thousand Oaks, California. Their second daughter, Madison Jade Mizanin, was born 20th September 2019. In 2014, The Miz adopted an arrogant movie star persona, bringing in Damien Sandow as his stunt double, now known as Damien Mizdow. The duo won the WWE Tag Team Championship in late 2014 after a 2-month hiatus filming the Marine 4, Moving Target. The Miz returned to WWE on 30th June 2014 episode of Raw and immediately began to insult the crowd, and taking on the gimmick of an arrogant movie star, and turning heel for the first time since 2012. He was interrupted by the returning Chris Jericho. A week later, on 7th July episode of Raw, Miz was defeated by Chris Jericho in his return match. On 20th July at Battleground, Miz won a Battle Royal by lastly eliminating Dolph Ziggler to win the Intercontinental Championship for a third time. Miz lost the title to Ziggler on 17th August at SummerSlam, ending his reign at 28 days. Later that month, Damien Sandow began appearing with Miz as his stunt double, mimicking all of Miz's moves and mannerisms, and was subsequently billed as Damien Mizdow. At Night of Champions, Miz defeated Ziggler to regain the Intercontinental Championship. However, he lost the title back to Ziggler in a rematch the following night on Raw. On 29th September episode of Raw, Miz once again unsuccessfully challenged Ziggler for the Intercontinental title in a triple threat match also involving Cesaro. After defeating Sheamus several times with the help of Mizdow, Miz challenged him for the United States Championship at Hell in a Cell at Survivor Series. Unsuccessful. Miz and Mizdow won the WWE Tag Team Championship by winning a fatal 4-way match against defending champions Gold and Stardust, the Usos and Los Matadors. The following night on Raw, Miz and Mizdow retained the titles against Gold and Stardust. Miz and Mizdow entered into a feud with the Usos on 1st December episode of Raw after the Usos won a tag team turmoil match to become number 1 contenders to the tag team titles. Miz interacted with Jimmy Uso's wife, offering to connect her with a Hollywood producer to distribute her music video. At TLC, the Usos defeated Miz and Mizdow by disqualification after Miz hit Jimmy Uso with a Slammy Award. On 29th December episode of Raw, Miz and Mizdow lost the titles to the Usos. On 9th January episode of SmackDown, Miz and Mizdow were given a tag team championship opportunity against the Usos and Gold and Stardust, but were unsuccessful. At Royal Rumble, Miz and Mizdow challenged the Usos for the titles once again in a losing effort. Later that night, both Miz and Mizdow competed in the Rumble match, with Miz as the first entrant, but was eliminated by Bubba Ray Dudley. Mizdow entered at number 21, where Miz tried to take Mizdow's spot, only for Roman Reigns to push him off the apron, allowing Mizdow to enter before quickly being eliminated by Rusev. On 9th February episode of Raw, Miz fired Mizdow as his stunt double after Mizdow began to gain more attention from fans, though he quickly rehired Mizdow as his personal assistant. Mizdow then ceased being his assistant during WrestleMania 31. On 20th April 2015 edition of Monday Night Raw, Miz defeated Mizdow in a match where the winner gets to retain the Miz brand. After Big Show and Miz interfered in each other's Intercontinental Championship matches against Ryback, all three wrestled for the title at SummerSlam, where Miz was defeated. At the 2016 Royal Rumble, Miz competed in the Royal Rumble match, also providing commentary before being eliminated. Miz wrestled in a six-man ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania 32, which was won by Zack Ryder. On the post-WrestleMania Raw, Miz won the championship for a fifth time, after his wife Maryse made her return and distracted Ryder. 3 days later on SmackDown, Miz retained his championship by defeating Ryder in a rematch, with Maryse interfering once more. Miz then faced Cesaro for the Intercontinental Championship at WWE Payback, which he retained due to interference from Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. As a result, Miz faced all three contenders in a fatal four-way match at Extreme Rules, which he retained by pinning Cesaro. Miz would be drafted to SmackDown at the night of the draft. After defeating Darren Young and Apollo Crews at Battleground and SummerSlam, Miz then caught a worked shoot promo against Daniel Bryan, calling him out for leaving. Miz was soon entered a feud with Dolph Ziggler, defeating him twice to retain the title. Miz would put the belt on the line again at No Mercy at the expense of Ziggler's career. Dolph Ziggler won after Maryse and the Spirit Squad were ejected from ringside. The Miz lost his title after 188 days, 26 weeks. Maryse would later accept an offer for an Intercontinental Championship match from Daniel Bryan. The Miz and Dolph Ziggler would face on the 900th episode of SmackDown. Daniel Bryan later stated on Talking Smack that if The Miz lost, Dolph could trade him and Maryse to Raw for a replacement of his choice. The Miz won the match and was a six-time Intercontinental Champion. The Miz later defended his championship at Survivor Series against Sami Zayn after Maryse distracted Zayn by ringing the bell early. The Miz defended his championship belt against Kalisto, but got attacked by Ziggler himself later. Later that night, Daniel Bryan scheduled a ladder match at the upcoming TLC pay-per-view. The Miz won the match by hitting a low blow against Ziggler on the very top of the ladder, thus allowing him to keep the championship. This was the last match in the Miz-Ziggler feud. On 5th December, The Miz defended his title against Dean Ambrose on SmackDown. Due to James Ellsworth's interference, on 13th December episode of SmackDown, Miz confronted the WWE Champion AJ Styles about being the reason of the SmackDown's success before both being confronted by Ziggler and Ambrose. Later, Miz was confronted by Apollo Crews with the help of comedian Gabriel Iglesias on the backstage, and then participated in a fatal four-way elimination match involving Ziggler, Ambrose, and Luke Harper, where he was eliminated by Ambrose. The following week, The Miz defended his title against Apollo Crews after the match. He was interviewed by Renee Young and responded sarcastically by revealing Renee's real-life relationship with Dean Ambrose, thus prompting her to slap Miz. On 3rd January, Miz lost his title against Dean Ambrose despite Murray's interference. The Miz later announced he would participate in the 2017 Royal Rumble. He entered number 15 and lasted 32 minutes before being eliminated by The Undertaker. The Miz took part in the Elimination Chamber match for the WWE Championship. He entered number 6 and pinned Ambrose, who had been previously speared through the pod by Baron Corbin before taking an attitude adjustment from Cena and being pinned. On 28 February episode of SmackDown, Miz and Murray's made a special edition of Miz TV to critique Cena's powers on the backstage before Murray's slapped Cena and Nikki Bella, Cena's girlfriend, came to save him. On 7th March episode of SmackDown, Murray's and Miz attacked Nikki and Cena after they won a match against James Ellsworth and Carmella. Later on Talking Smack, Miz and Murray's diced them. On 14th March episode of SmackDown, after another showdown between Miz and Murray's against Cena and Nikki, the SmackDown general manager Daniel Bryan announced a mixed tag team match at WrestleMania 33 where Miz and Murray's lost. Miz and Murray's continued to mock Cena and Nikki on 4th April episode of SmackDown Live until the debuting Shinsuke Nakamura interrupted them as they were leaving the ring. On 10th April, Miz was drafted to the Raw brand along with Murray's as part of the Superstar Shakeup.